Perfect. We are being very polite today. So, good evening, everyone. It's very nice to see you today. We gathered to have a quick tour around the residency project, Digital Air Life-Size Model. And today we are happy to be in the presence of almost all the participating artists. And since we have a shared screen, I can just start right away with a short introduction. So we have Ruth Baettig here from Basel. We have Maria Stablina, who is a curator of the Digital Air program. We have Sonata Raiymkulova, who is an artist based in Bishkek. Vladislav Dovgopyaty, an artist and digital creator based in Moscow. And Polina Enuvesta, who is a digital creator and artist based in Cyprus. We are missing one participant today. It's Lynn Kwasi, who is also a residing artist of the program. Yet unfortunately, she couldn't join us today. But to learn more about Lynn's work, you can all go to the website digitalair.art. And there you can see a text contribution that Lynn made to the program during her work in the residency. And the program, let's say, of our evening today will be to go through all of these artistic works that were created during the residency, to listen to the artists talking about them, and to ask the possible questions that you can have and share your comments after the presentations. But if you feel an urge to ask the question right away, please feel free to use our chat, which is, you can see on the lower bar over there. Or maybe, in order not to interrupt, you can raise the hand and we can also, of course, address the question right away to the artist. Okay, so a few words about the residency itself. Just quickly. So the program was made already 3 years ago, but it's the first time it actually worked as a residency program. And we gathered with the artists to talk a bit about the structure of the architecture, of the virtual architecture of Fabrica, which is a currently existing exhibition space in Moscow. Yet, unfortunately, due to the pandemic first, and then to the current political situation, it's a bit frozen in terms of its residency programs. But our main aim was always to establish international connections and intercultural connections. So we all agreed to try and do our best to use this space as a place for us to meet and to establish a dialogue. And so the topic of the residency program is life-size model. And we discussed what this space actually is. How do we feel ourselves in there? What is how our body is actually represented? What is virtuality and how we can work with it while being the artist with more or less analog experience. And I'm going to share my screen now so that we can see the space itself. Okay, so I can see that some of you already joined the space together with me. Do you see my screen?
Yeah, we are seeing.
Perfect. So we will start our trip today with the tour of Ruth Baettig work. And since you see my screen, you can probably hear the sounds as well. I think so, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So just to say a few words about Ruth. Ruth is an artist. Okay, we'll do that just for a sec. Okay. Ruth is an artist who's based in Switzerland, and she's working with both video, photography, performance, and she won several art prizes and did residencies in Rotterdam, Beirut, Yerevan, and Berlin. And for quite some time, Ruth is also active in film and cinema sector. She's been an expert of film education for children and teenagers. And for the digital air, Ruth created and presented the work Placet experiri, if I pronounce it right. So Ruth, can you be so kind as to tell us a few words about your project? Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, maybe we can start without the sound first, and then I can switch it on.
Yeah. For me, when I got this invitation to participate in this project, I was quite enthusiastic because I never did something like this, and I had some experience as a user of the space of a XR space, but I never was thinking that I will do a project like this. So when we started to discussing, for me was really very interesting because I wanted to put together in a way a very basic experience we had as a human being through the body. So for me was the starting point was the idea of what's happening in our imagination through dreams, for example, and what this can have as a reaction of our emotion and our feelings when we are in spaces. And so I tried, with the help of all the people that was involved in the project, to build a space. And for me, for this life model is really a kind of starting point also, because I wanted to work really with the space in La Fabrica and in this art house space. And so I just build up boxes and boxes where you can go through and have experience through the elements you see, the landscape you have, and the sound space you has proposed. And there is oops. Here that it should not fall, you should, because I think it's quite complex. So you have really to experience the different spaces. And for example, this one, there is, when the sound is on, I use a contribution from a Russian artist, Anatoly Zhuraliev, and he was telling me a story he had from his childhood. And so we are in this space, and I wanted to have this sharing with people who can speak Russian, and so that for the other people they don't have this. So for this is this translation, and I think it's something. And I have also to say, I wanted to build up something which you can really experience with a headset. For me, it was really this, that you are really in this space to experience to the experience of the space with a headset. And so I build up really on this basis, on this proposal, on this situation. And for example, here you will also find in all the spaces the same element. And so the idea of Alice in Wonderland now I forget the term in
Wonderland.
English. Yeah, Wonderland. Is also the idea that sometimes you are really small, confronted with all the space, and you see the same element, but perhaps upside down, like the table. And so then I think it's the idea that you really experience the space and that you try out what's happened when you are collapsed, for example, with elements. And for example, here you can go closer to the radio. Is a radio from the Russian time, and if you are closer, then it will happen something. So you get in another space. And I think it's just in dreams you have this possibility that you can jump from one space in another. And sometimes it's scary, and sometimes it's very nice experience you have in dreams, and you would like to stay. And so it's a little bit this idea at the base of this project. Are there some questions?
Can we go to see the other dream?
Yeah. So. Yeah, it should not. Yeah. There is an error. Before it, everything was going well. I have just to say it was well.
So we will make the same way through.
Very well. Yes. Please, thank you.
Oh, have we visited an igloo or no?
So,
yes.
Yes, we are here. So, and this was from a project I did about dreams, when people was telling me really dreams. The other one from Anatoly, that was really a real story. But at the end, something is collapsing also together, these different stories. And this was really a dream from a woman, and she thought about this. And so I wanted to contribute it, that also in a way that the user, when you are in the space, at the same time that you all the time have a new experience about the space, but on the same time you are creating your own images again through what is said. And this I'm very, very interested in, that finally also the capacity of our own experience. And I think or many things is started perhaps with dreams, because it's the base of storytelling. And so I wanted to give this idea in this project, that at the end XR is just a new possibility. It's not really something new, because you have it's a new instrument to get other possibilities, to have new imaginations. And in this, I was very, very interested, or I'm still very interested. And so I created in these different spaces, different moments that you as a user or as a visitor can have moments of new imagination, that you are dominating your own experience in a way, or it's not the machine of the XR, which is I think this struggle between machine, they are introduce you in something, or you put you in something. I would like to use it as an instrument to say to the user, you have your own possibility to dream, or your own possibility even they are nightmares, but you have you are the owner of ideas, and you are the owner of imaginations, and this is very strong what I wanted to express in a way in my project. And so you see here, for example, the night space. I use, for example, also in this original spaces, in the day space and in the night space, I use also sounds from the real space of Fabrika in Moscow. Thanks to Christina, she sent me some sounds, and then so I created the soundscape of these spaces, of two spaces. And for me, it would be a dream, my dream, to go to Moscow and to install in a way just the table with this model, because on the table what you are seeing, this is the model of La Fabrica. And so just to have this, and beside it could be in a projection of the project, of my project, and then the people, they could go in. But physically, it should exist there. And also this is another element I'm very interested in, is this go forward and go back to between physical experience and digital possibilities. In a way, imaginations and physical limits you have, because you are a human being with your body. And again, through imaginations and through XR, you have the possibility to discover other space and to have this experience, to be in another space. But on the other hand, is your head is creating these effects. And perhaps one thing, perhaps you can go through, there is one space, if you go through, yeah, you are in the main space. So, and there is, for example, there is all the time the element, from Fabrica. But if the igloo, for example, there you have the other on the left. Yeah, there is this igloo, and there I wanted to really go very, very far for this idea that at the end it's your own experience. But for wait, yeah, then you are come back, and so yes, so stay there, because here is you just hear a voice, and the idea is that you are closing your eyes. And it's completely a contradictory thing that you are closing in the XR world your eyes. But I wanted to create this experience that you are creating it, and everything is black, but you have these white flashes, and in the same time you are doing a travel, but it's a completely, you are created in this moment images. Yeah, which are not in the XR, but which you can experience. And I was very, very intrigued by this idea when I had it, because it shows you exactly the possibility in a way of XR, but also the limits of XR. I don't know if I'm clear enough, but for sure you need the sound everywhere in the spaces. You need the sound to really have the whole experience of my project.
I just want to propose to switch on the sound for a bit, so that we can hear what is the sound that you're referring to.
But you have to close your eyes to have the experience.
And then we're back again.
Yeah.
Can I have a question?
Now, yeah.
Can I have a question, or you want to continue first?
Perhaps I have just to tell at the beginning, when you enter in the space, there is a voice, it's from a computer voice, and she's telling just calm down, take a big breath, and then just close your eyes. And at the end, you will hear water, and then you can open your eyes again. So, and then that is, you are doing this travel. Yeah, that's what's just perhaps, and yeah.
Well, after the residency, after you've worked with 8XR for almost 5 months, as an analog artist, what do you think is different from the experience of making an artwork through digital artwork, a VR artwork, or an analog artwork?
Yeah, for sure, I need help. That is what's one point, because technically I tried at the beginning really to work on my own, but it was not possible. You can't learn so fast. I think this is a big. Even now, I'm also working in a residency in Portugal, and also I need help for my performance. But this is another thing. And in XR. For this, I wanted also to have really the experience about the headset, and I bought my headset because I wanted really to have this kind of experience. And but it's very cerebral in a way. And this is the interesting thing. I think it's a very condensed experience of an emotional approach, which is even, I think, if you are concentrated, stronger than in the physical world, perhaps, because you are so focused, you are so close, in this sphere. This is a kind of sphere, and you are also, I have the impression, but I would like, for example, my idea is that I invite friends of me, that I will meet them here and to have discussion in the space, and to see is there a difference between these discussions? Are the people, I have to prepare it. At the moment, perhaps it's around dreams, I don't know. But I would like to know also what does it do, this experience, to other people when we are in the same space, and there perhaps, for example, is a thematic to discuss. And this, I think, is interesting. What does it mean to me as a body with an avatar in this space? And I meet another person as another avatar, but I knew behind them is a human being. And thus, is there a changement or also possibility to express or to say things perhaps you don't say if you are physically confronted? And these, I think, are for me very interesting questions. And this I can't have in a physical world, or even not through Zoom or through. And I think I'm quite curious about it. What is there a new possibility to create moments of discussions or moments of meeting? And perhaps I don't know the people they are. That would be the best. And then to have a little discussion with an avatar, and I knew behind there is a human being. And this is very, very interesting for me to think. I don't know if I answer your question.
Yes, you did. I also wanted to ask, first I wanted to add whether there was a difference between how you convey your ideas in a virtual space compared to physical space, but then you said that it is different.
Yeah. And for sure, I like very much site-specific things, you know. So how you are doing this in XR, and with the proposal of Air Fabrica or Digital Air, for me was a kind of given, because I'm not working in as other artists in the group. I never did works like this. But on the other hand, I'm very sensitive of spaces and site-specific situations. And I think this is also one reason that I wanted even to explore the possibility that you can jump from one site-specific thing to another, but you come back and and this I think is very interesting with XR, with this project. You can also be lost in it if you don't know how to navigate in it. And I think this is also an experience I just is it's interesting to have to could do.
Thank you so much, Ruth. We also just wanted to add, if you have any questions for Ruth or for her project specifically, you can address it now, because unfortunately she should leave a bit earlier today. But I was wondering if you can tell us a bit more about the title, because it's maybe not very like well known for a person who's out of the context. So what does it stand for?
Yeah, Placet experiri. It means that the space where you can really do experience. And finally, it is a citation, a citat, a quote. It's a quote, which is in Thomas Mann, Zauberberg, the Magic Mountain from Thomas Mann. And there it was a man, and his motto in the book, it was this Placet experiri. And I was very intrigued by this, the title came quite late, but I liked very much the idea of these moments of experiences, and also through a book. And if you are thinking a book is so incredibly XR in a way. And so for this, it's a kind of coincidence that I was thinking, okay, it came to me like also an inspiration. Really, it was a kind of hazard, I have to say, and I have also to admit, but I'm very, very open of such things. When I'm in a project that it pops up something and it's speaking to me, and so it was this thing, the Zauberberg, when I'm the Magic Mountain, and this Placet experiri that is even in the book itself as a place where you can do your own experience. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ruth. Thank you for your introduction. If we don't have any comments or questions, or if you have comments or questions, you can also put them in the chat as well. Then I propose us to move on. And the next project we have here is a project by Polina Enuvesta. And her project is called Dimensional Quatrain. And I'm just gonna share my screen right away. So I can see that I'm not alone here. I have a bunch of people, which is lovely. Yes, and here is a small map just to navigate you and see where the works are situated. So we are running right away to your space, Polina. So just to give a quick introduction, Polina is a digital media artist, which is currently residing in Cyprus. And her art practice is focused on preserving the value of handcrafted in digital environments and poetic imagery in order to overcome the feeling of fatality by keeping connection between human nature and technology. And I think I should turn on the sound, right? First.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay, I'm just gonna do that.
Let's try to
Yeah.
either hear or read the poem.
You take off in a certain direction, but you move in a different direction, with no way to return to point A. Though sometimes you come back noting, hey, your own house has got a bit crooked, and it feels in a different direction, directed. Seems that air has got a bit crooked. You take off in a certain direction, but you
It
move
goes in
a
circles. You can turn the
different
sound off
direction.
now. So basically, I'm a fan of mixing medias and finding new ways for different medias to implement them. And here I mix poetry and 3D because I like poetry, and also the poems are also really structured, though sometimes at the first glance it's pure imagination and a lot of space for creation, but actually structuring is a big part of poetry. So with this project, I was not attempting to do any visual, I don't know, imagery or just pretty pictures, but I was trying to use 3D as an instrument for analysis. So the hard part was to choose which poem to interpretate with this means that we were given by Fabrica and 8XR. And I think it was the longest part of residency where I was just searching for the right poem. And I finally found the one by Dmitry Prigov. It's also about space, and it has this uncanny feeling that one can have occasionally towards space. And but it's a poem in Russian. So for the project, I did the translation, and right away, just my first association from this Krivoy Vostok was the word crooked. There is a poem from a children's book about a crooked man and a crooked sixpence and his crooked house where he lives. So it's rhymes pretty well with this one, since there's also a crooked house and some sort of a crooked hero, such as, you know, band or SQ or something like that. And the Russian poem is actually pretty popular. I'm not sure about the English origin though. And so the main the project is called Dimensional Quatrain. So quatrain is 4 lines of a poem, and I picked a particular corner from Fabrica's photogrammetry scans, which looked mostly poetic to me. It had a column, an arch, and this bench. And I just sort of repeated it 4 times, so it will make an architectural rhyme, but each corner has a different topic, a different layer of poetry. So there is just sound in one corner, there is typography in another corner, there is imagery with the crooked air and this crooked column in the third one, and this black and white nonsense supposed to mean rhyme, and also the sound is if we turn the sound on, there is another sound that we kind of heard a little bit, but it's just the rhyming. So in this corner we will only hear the structure, this time and space structure of the poem, and all the accents that there are. And if you, Christina, can we come to the board over there? Yes, so a little bit closer. Okay, so you see the dots over there, that's the rhyming structure of this poem by Dmitry Perigov, and then the sound waves down there is the way I did the sound, so I just recorded myself, and then I mimicked the pattern of all the I don't know, slow values, just where the accents are. So the both sound waves like intersect, overlap, and somewhere in the middle of the space you can hear how they come together. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, so basically it's just a little research about the poem, and since all the analytical work is done in quite an artistic way, you can also try creating something for yourself for a better understanding, or for a just a souvenir to remember the work by, and I will post a link in chat. This is the last part of the project, a little so AI poem generator, quatrain generator. And just follow the link. You need to add some associations that you have from your tour, and it will generate a poem for you, but it only does it once, so just save it and, I don't know, screenshot it as a souvenir. That would be everything. Maybe any questions?
I see that your work already sort of boosted some incredible emotions of some of the visitors, if you can see on the screen. But I was just wondering, just to quickly start maybe with a question, if you could notice some similarities or distinctions between working with the space and working with the poetry. Like, could you feel that analyzing and comparing them can sometimes have specific patterns? How did you overlap them?
This sounds like that was the goal of the research, right?
Okay, yeah.
In poems is it's actually quite a popular topic, but you can approach it in different ways. There are poets that sort of imagine the page as a space, and so the words, so they kind of compose from this mindset that this is a space, and so the overall look of the poem matters, and so this is maybe the approach from the typography corner. Then also, let's see, what is spatial about poems? I don't know, it's a hard question, Christine. Maybe ChatGPT will answer it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, if someone has any comments or questions to Polina's work.
I want to make a question. You're talking about something about the hardest part of your workflow, and I'm lost that mind. And can you repeat what being the hardest part of working with this thing, with this artwork?
I think it's the research part was the hardest, to pick a poem which would be interesting to convey with this 3D world. Because I didn't want to do like just pick any poem and just create illustrations for it. I wanted to find another way to get these medias together. But it doesn't work for any poem, I guess. I mean, this particular one is really good.
I think the looks of this project, that this looks like something in the middle between the 3D compose of room and typography, and you got this vibes, because this literally looks like something in the middle of typography and 3D graphics, and I really like it, and this have some some interesting vibes. I just want to say this.
Yes, thank you. But there's also sound, and then there is also this AI generation. So I kind of try to approach this little poem from all the ways that I can. Also typography and the 3D world. Thanks.
Yeah, I think it's nice that you shared the link already in the chat so that everyone can already try and make up a poem.
Maybe we can try one right now.
Yeah, that's
if
for
we have
sure.
time.
Do we
Maybe
have any?
Christina, maybe we can do one together. If you follow the link and share the screen, and then we come up with a couple of words and see if it still works, actually.
Okay, then I will quickly do that. So, any suggestions regarding the words that we can possibly use? Anything? And as I remember, both in Russian and in English.
Yeah, but it performs better in English. In Russian, not every time. So basically, just try to think of any association with this, well, with each corner. Maybe anyone, a little interaction.
Okay, so that's going to be the poem of...
Oh, someone's writing in chat.
Is there? Oh, sorry. Yes. Font. Okay. So it's going to be font in space number 1. The second word. Can I go with flower? I think, I don't know why flower is stuck in my mind, but okay. Word number 3.
Write cinematic.
Cinematic, okay.
Let's see.
Wait. And word number 4, final suggestion.
In chat.
Utopia, okay.
Thanks. Everyone who's participating.
So this is going to be the collective effort.
It's quite a basic text-to-text model, and I am still now when I see how this performs. I mean, it does quatrains, but pretty simple one, and I think maybe I should try to translate English. To customize the model a little bit more next time with poems.
I think it looks perfect, to be honest.
Yeah, sometimes the results are pretty interesting.
Okay, thank you very much, Polina. If we don't have any more questions or comments, then we can move on. And Vlad, can you please hop on and share the screen? I already gave you this possibility. And the final work that we're about to experience today is a work created together by Vladislav Dovgopyaty and Sonata Raiymkulova. Vlad is an artist based in Moscow, and he works in 3D graphics and interactive media. Before that, he worked with ceramics, although I think he proceeds doing that as well. And his themes relate to anger, suppression of emotions, and apathy. And Sonata is an artist born and based in Bishkek. She works in black and white graphics, sculpture, and animation. And her topics relate to the formation of a person, their existence and interaction with society, and the space in which they live. So this is a collaborative work. Yes, guys, can you please tell us a bit about it?
Sorry. Sonata?
Oh, okay. I'll try to explain everything in English. So, in fact, it was my first long-term collaboration, and the most important thing for me was probably the discussion, during which, for example, that huge crater was created. So you can see drawings that are that tell us how in which craters often flow into each other, and sometimes they are in complex communication with each other. And an interesting experience was the transfer from 2D drawings into the space. How to наверное, все-таки лучше будет на русском, да, я не смогу.
Sure.
В общем, основной идеей было это некоторые исследования созависимости, и вот то существо, которое вы видели изначально большое, оно как бы раскрывало все наши размышления, ощущения, которые мы хотели передать зрителям.
So
Рисунки.
Sorry, just quickly. So originally it's a research about codependency, and these images and graphic works that you could see around the creature, and the creature itself is aimed at developing and picturing this idea of codependency.
Да, рисунки, как бы мы в ходе обсуждения с Владом, наверное, более четко я стала понимать, что в рисунках есть вот эти взаимоотношения между существами, где они перетекают друг в друга и как бы и теряют свои границы, да, и, ну, как бы сам проект об этом и рассказывает. И самым интересным было здесь, наверное, как перенести эти 2D-рисунки в 3D-пространство, если мы не хотели их просто вывешивать, а как-то использовать те функции, которые нам дает платформа.
In terms of discussion, Vlad and Sonata realized that these graphic works that you can see on the platform around the creature basically symbolize this relationship that people can have when they lose the borders of their personality and of their bodies. And the most important thing for them while working was to understand how to transfer this 2D graphic works into virtual reality and how to not just transfer them in terms of 2D, but maybe make them more suitable for the platform that they were working at.
В принципе, это все.
Тогда я продолжаю. Основным, ну, центральной работой у нас была аморфный организм, как бы состоящий из этих переплетенных тел, потерявших свои границы, и зрителю, собственно, предлагается этот опыт пройти.
So the main object or subject in this space is this amorphous creature that is basically an embodiment of what Sonata was talking about. It's a mix of different people or of different creatures that lost their borders of their bodies. They lost themselves in one amorphous thing.
Так, это было неожиданно. Ну вот. Не так-то просто в этот опыт попасть.
Yes, it happens sometimes. So as nothing can be perfect in terms of the experience, it usually leaves a space for a mistake. So it's okay. But I must say, it's nice to see the space that we are falling through, so sky blue and, you know, almost dreamlike in comparison how it usually looks like. Интересно, Влад, что он выбрал такой голубенький, красивый небесный цвет по сравнению с тем, как это обычно.
Была последняя попытка, и я покажу это на видео.
Okay.
Так. Сейчас, секунду. Sorry.
Окей. Может, ты тогда вот с этого момента как раз.
В общем, подходя к существу, зритель неожиданно для себя образом, ну, как бы перемещается в игру, оказывается в ситуации вот этой потери границ. Она всегда происходит как бы неожиданно, на мой взгляд. И внутри как бы игры также неожиданно игрок оказывается вот в таких ловушках, из которых я как бы предлагаю ему выбираться, проявляя злость.
So when approaching the creature, the visitor can be sucked into by this ember, which is appearing out of nowhere. And shortly after that, you can find yourself inside this creature, basically inside a very foggy and misty place that is completely dark. And while wandering there in the dark, you can be also like embraced and sucked in by this black ember. And the only way to get out of it is to show your anger. So you have to press specific keys on your board in order to escape this ember.
Скорее, даже в первую очередь не проявляя, а ощущая злость. Вот так, мне кажется, важная разница.
Yes, not even to show your anger, but maybe to feel it on the first place.
Сейчас. Да, и дальше как бы у игрока выбор, чтобы выбраться из этого помещения, он может как бы продолжать попадать в эти ловушки, постоянно как бы наступая на грабли, вот, либо с помощью злости как бы идти над ними, облегчая себе путь. Вот.
And basically, there are two ways how a person can proceed and stay inside this creature. You can either wander in this muddy water and from time to time being sucked in by this ember, or you can feel the anger and try and build that bridge that Vlad is right now showing on the screen. And this can be a way to save yourself from this ember and try and walk under the surface of the water.
Это все.
Можно я задам вопрос по поводу музыки, которая звучит в зале? Поскольку она, во-первых, очень интересно тонирует какие-то места, когда янтарь, вот этот вот лава проявляется. Во-вторых, она в пространстве, которое вы выбрали для работы, получает практически какой-то очень странное, практически религиозное звучание, скажем так. То есть какие-то ноты в этом звуке периодически напоминают мне, скажем так, органные песни, органную музыку. So I'm just asking about the sounds that the guys used in the space, because the sound appears in a very interesting moments, and also the sound of it sometimes resembles with the way religious music can sound and how organ can sound in specific ceremonies.
Я даже не знаю, как прокомментировать. Звук нам писал Ярослав, и одной из таких штук, которую он использовал, которая мне понравилась именно в звуке внутри игры на болоте, был как бы звук сос, как его на азбуку Морзе отбивают. Как бы зашитый в эту музыку, которая как бы ну, поддерживает этот смысл, что злость нужна как помощь для того, чтобы выйти оттуда.
So the sound was written by Ярослав, я правильно помню, Калантай, да, ведь насколько у него? Нет,
Да.
нет. And the guys specifically liked the way some sounds were perceived in this track, in this audio track. But also, it's interesting that basically it emerged on the very last step while working on the project. Он же возник практически в последние несколько моментов работы над проектом. Интересно,
Да.
как это получилось связать вместе в том числе.
Ну, я знаю, что Ярослав с Сонатой работал и делал для ее работ музыку.
Да, для анимации.
Поэтому ну, как-то она органично вписалась в целом.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Do we have questions or comments regarding the work that Vlad and Sonata just showed to us?
I have a question. Sonata said in the beginning that in her works she tried to explore, if I'm not mistaken, the relation, the sense of relating. How did you? And also, it was your first long-term cooperation with another artist. So are those two in any way connected? Have you changed maybe your opinion? Ты просто сказала вначале, что в своих работах ты изучала, показывала некую взаимозависимость. И плюс ко всему это, как опять-таки ты сказала, твое первое долгосрочное сотрудничество с другим художником. Как ты ощущаешь себя по итогу всего? Возможно, как бы что-то поменялось? Или, я не знаю, ну, просто интересно, то есть это совпадение или это было изначально, возможно, как-то намеренно?
Ну, изначально мы с Владом как бы начали общаться на фоне того, что у нас есть некие перекликания как бы в, как это сказать, в работах, но при этом мы решаем некоторые проблемы по-разному. То есть графически и в ситуациях, наверное, тоже. И если в моем случае чаще всего это действительно такие бестелесные, в некотором смысле бесформенные существа, которые как-то строят какую-то коммуникацию между собой, то у Влада это были какие-то такие более, как это сказать, воинственные, я не знаю, Влад, как это сказать. Да, и поэтому это было очень интересное общение, то есть мы постоянно обсуждали и работы, и, наверное, во многом это помогло переосмыслить некоторые аспекты, да, взаимоотношений между, можно даже сказать, художниками, да, и отношение моё к рисункам, и даже в некотором смысле взгляды изменились.
Okay, so basically, yes, the Sonata was saying that from her opinion, the approach that not the approach, but maybe the topics that she is working as an artist sometimes correlate with the topics that Vlad is working with. But the ways that they are working on these topics and the approaches that they use can be very different. So although they have quite a lot of similarities, the process of working on that project showed that they can like work pretty much on the same project and on the same topic, still preserving the way and the approaches that they use. if I understood and translated it correctly. Maybe Masha, you want to add something?
Well, yes, from what Sonata said, I believe they somehow shared their ideas in a way. Sorry, they shared some of their approaches in a way, and Vlad's works, Sonata's works were more like amorphic ones, and Vlad's more maybe aggressive. But in the end, they kind of, from what I see, they integrated one into the other, because the morphing creature also resembles the works.
Can I add something to this? Sorry, it's not my project, but I still think it's quite interesting what Masha noticed, that the topic of their collaboration is codependency, and it's the only collaborative work in a residency. And I remember guys try to find a way to really do this together, to make a game, and so so everyone I know, to fuse their works together, but in the end, you have this creature made by animated and modeled and created, as I understand, by Sonata, and the space created by Vlad. So you kind of kept your boundaries. So I think it's a very positive experience of relationship.
But the creature was animated by Vlad, or no?
Нет, тоже я делала.
Тоже ты? Окей.
Но это хорошее замечание.
Пространство игры, можно сказать, не полностью как бы создавал я, потому что оно как бы сделано из модели существа. Это непосредственно то, что у него внутри.
Yes, but the game is like, it's just a container, but everything that's inside you did. All the mechanics and the gameplay.
Okay.
So just a comment.
But that's a nice comment. I mean, it's literally the only project that was made collaboratively. And it's interesting that in its very core, it has the idea of codependency and how to work together, basically, without not violating each other's boundaries and borders. So thank you so much, guys, for your presentation. If we have any questions or remarks or comments.
I want to ask one question about drawings. You have some drawings in the walls of your metaverse, and someone very difficult structure with drawings with something like mosquitoes flying in this structure. Can you tell a little bit more about these drawings and this big structure in metaverse?
That's a question to Sonata, to Sonata and Vlad.
For both, I don't know who put the drawings, who draw the drawings, but
Okay.
I want to know a little bit more about these creatures.
Sonata, ты поняла или мне лучше перевести?
Я не совсем поняла. То есть вопрос именно к той работе, где двигаются мухи, или в
Да,
принципе?
по сути, немножечко больше вопросов, немножечко побольше сказать про сами рисунки, потому что в них там
Ну да.
есть дополнение в виде насекомых, и они немножко двигаются, и вообще как ты это все видишь?
Ну, насчет...
Это пространство, то есть я так понимаю, ты их нарисовала изначально на бумаге?
Да, то есть это 2D рисунки, но во время работы мы поняли, что как бы вывешивать их просто будет неинтересно, и добавилась анимация. Если говорить о самих рисунках, то у как бы конкретно этого рисунка очень такая сложная история. Она связана с как раз-таки с личными границами, очень во многом с телесными ощущениями. Там и была связана с тем, что происходит, наверное, в большей степени в Кыргызстане, когда к женщине ее тело относится как к чьей-то собственности, когда она не может распоряжаться этим, и все это как бы, если очень сжато нарисовано на этом рисунке. Просто рассказывать это будет очень долго. Вот. Ну, как бы все рисунки связаны больше с личным опытом.
So those are 2D drawings. Were 2D drawings from the beginning, but later when they transferred them into Metaverse, Sonata decided to animate them to make them more appropriate for the space. And the particular drawing with flies relates to her personal experience as a woman, as a female in Kyrgyzstan, and her feelings and the general approach to women in that country. So, but it's quite personal, and it would be long if she will elaborate more.
Спасибо.
Okay, do we have any more comments or questions? You can also all the time write them in the chat. And just to sum up a bit and to tell that we indeed have the fifth participant who is today not here. But once again, we are strongly inviting everyone to acknowledge and get acquainted with her work, which can be found on this website. It's right on the main page, and it's basically a reflection on what is common ground that we were trying to build when we were working on the residency project. Also, it will be nice to know what you think about what common ground is, so you can always write us using the form on the website. I feel like I'm promoting it right now. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us today.
I just wanted to add that Lynn's work was also with us all the time. It's part of the interface.
Exactly.
In the upper left corner. So she was technically with us. And
yeah, exactly. And you can see it on the website and in the platform of 8XR. So it's a little trick that the project is playing with your mind. But anyway, thank you once again. And it was lovely to share this evening with you. And thank you so much for all of your questions and attention. И давайте оставаться на связи. Было замечательно.
There is one more question in the chat.
Oh, right. Yes. So there is a question to Sonata.
Okay. Dear Sonata, how do insects relate to being female to you?
Как-то связаны насекомые в твоем, как бы, в твоей рефлексии, по твоему мнению, с ощущением, как это называется по-русски-то, от того, что ты ощущаешь себя женщиной. То есть как связано то, что ты используешь вот этих вот насекомых мух, с тем, что ты рассказывала про работу?
Ну, я сейчас задумалась об этом, и много делается как бы подсознательно, и если подумать, то люди, ну, как бы в некотором смысле, наверное, больше женщины, в рисунке были изображены в виде цветов. И, наверное, вот эти насекомые — это и есть какое-то такое общество, которое вокруг тебя жужжит и наседает.
А в рисунках каких ты имеешь в виду?
Ну, вот в том рисунке с насекомыми, ну, с летающими насекомыми.
Okay, so now that Sonata thinks more about it, she thinks that in that graphic work that you can see on the platform, you can relate to it as if the women and the society that's around them and interact with them can be pictured as like plants or flowers and the insects. So it's a story more about the interactions between those two. How one can represent female and another one a person that surround them. Yeah. Okay.
Спасибо, ребята, молодцы.
Okay, I think it's enough. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So we don't have any more questions. But anyway, feel free to write to us any moment. И спасибо большое, что вы сегодня пришли. Было очень радостно со всеми повидаться. И остаемся на связи. Thank you so much and see you soon.
Спасибо большое.
Bye-bye.
Спасибо.
Thanks, everyone.